Hello, hello. All right. Welcome, 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 everyone. Cool. So, hello, hello, hello. Hey, Eliza, how are you? Hello. Thank you for joining me on this Facebook Live. Hey, Sabrina. I'm glad you got all the recordings for Let's Create Magic. Yay. Cool. So, today, if you have a look up in the post, my little, hey, Andrea, what I'm going to talk about today is creation from nothing. And is it really true that you actually have nothing to create from or with? So I've been looking at, hey, Veronica, how are you? Are you still in Scotland, getting blown away by that awesome wind? So I'd like to share with you, there are lots of things that we have defined creation as the way to be and how it should be. And there are a lot of things that when we define stuff, we tend to limit and not be able to see the possibilities beyond that. So when I'm looking at, creation from nothing, is it really true that you have nothing to create from or with? And what if you define creation as that it isn't? And what if you define creation as not that it is? Because the things I'm going to share with you today are basically different energies and different tools that a lot of us already have. If you guys have done anything to do with access consciousness, and there's a link in the post about this Facebook Live that will take you through to what's called the clearing statement, which is a whole bunch of words put together. It's like a vacuum to suck up all the energies that you're basically willing to get rid of right now. So as far as creation from nothing goes, if you were to look at, where you are right here, right now, and then look at what it is you would like to create, sometimes there's obviously a gap in between where you're at right now and where you would like to be or what you would like to create. So a lot of people will go straight to, well, I don't have the money for that. Well, I don't have the time for that. And realistically, there's other things, even if you don't have money or even if you don't have time, there are other tools and energies that you have access to that you can use to your advantage to start creating. And a lot of people will think that creating is basically like, building. I've got to build a website. I've got to build a box. I've got to, like a physicality. What I'm looking at here, where I say, creation from nothing, is using things and tools like asking questions, like choosing or choice in general, like contribution, like who and what can you contribute to that perhaps you can barter from, or you can exchange something that you both find valuable that would actually start to create the reality and the possibility that is possible. And then there's possibilities. There's your awareness, there's your knowing, there's your perceiving, being, and receiving. All of these energies you already have. And the trick is to be able to access them so that they're clear for you, and so you can start to create anywhere, anytime, whether you have money or not. Is any of this making sense to anyone? And when you look at things like questions and choice, question is basically the start of any creation. Yes, excellent. I'm glad, Nikki, you're one of a few. Well, one of 11 people that get it. So question, even if you don't use any of the other energies or use any of the other tools, you can use question. Question is something that if you're willing to start to exercise as a muscle and use, will shift and change energy literally straight away, will start to get you unstuck in those areas that you've always thought you were stuck in and could never get out of. Excellent, Lainey. Woohoo, making sense. It will also start to show you capacities and abilities that you weren't even aware of. It will start to unblock those areas where you're limiting or you're stopping yourself. And that, even though it's not like a physical creation, that is actually a creation of you starting to create the reality that you know is possible. And Nikki says, I find it fascinating. Why is lack of money the reason and justification for not creating? Well, yeah, it's a great way, Nikki, for us to reason and justify not to choose, not to create, not to question, not to be greater. Basically, in a nutshell, and one of the things that we do that for is actually so we don't upset people, so we're not too much, so we're not too different. Because if you guys do use the tools and processes of Access Consciousness, you know how much these tools are able to change wherever you're at right now, in whatever situation you're at right now. And when that starts to happen and show up and get created, there is a level of uncomfortableness that shows up. You're becoming like the greatness you know you to be, and yet you also still have to work and play within this reality. And this reality doesn't tend to, it works from judgments basically, which is quite the opposite of the way in which we would like to create. So sometimes we will find reasons and justifications and limitations and even come to a decision or a conclusion that will actually stop us. And yes, Nikki, it is daft. And it's okay, because we are so impelled and, so in this reality from the time we are born that judgments, are second nature to a lot of us until we are shown something different, until we are shown a different possibility. And that's where questions can actually start to create that different reality and that different possibility that you're aware of and that you have been shown. What would it take for this nothing to transform? Oh, I'm not quite sure exactly what that says, that comment. So, if you were willing to just look at using questions to start your creations, simple questions like, okay, if you have a creations list, right, which one today? Run through your list and ask, which one today? And for whatever one that pops, it's like, okay, so what do you require of me today? And you'll get an awareness of what that is and what that creation requires, and then there's the energy of that creation that you can use to your advantage. That creation has a consciousness of its own. So by you even asking a question and being aware of the energy that this creation is, you've got a teammate and a playmate that now you can co-create with. And you know what? None of that has costed any money. It's cost you perhaps a few minutes of your time, yet the value of choosing to create and ask a question compared to the cost of your time, priceless. Yes, Brenda, nice to see you. I know the times for my calls that I'm running at the moment are not quite congruent with where Brenda is. So she gets to see the replays of them, just not me live. Yes, I did actually think of all the people that don't generally get to see me on my live calls, Brenda, so that's why it's at this time of night. So if you guys have a look at what you would like to create and have a look at the excuses or the reasons and justifications that you're actually giving yourself right now, whether it's time, money, not enough information, I don't know where to go, I don't know what direction to take. have a look at even the one thing of question. What question can you ask to the energy of that creation that would give you more awareness about what choice to choose next? Awesome. And then, have a look at that energy, and if it's light, choose it. Choose it. So that's my little 10 minutes of Facebook Live. I just kind of wanted to put that out there and give you guys perhaps a different perspective on creation and a different perspective on coming at creation. It doesn't have to be in one way, and it doesn't have to be like and look like anything else on the planet or how anyone else has done it. Excellent. And I've got some links up there on the post if you guys would like to join me tomorrow, Thursday, the 4th of October at 7 a.m. We're actually going to be taking this conversation and expanding it very, 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 very much so than what I have now. And it is a free live stream, so if you want to jump on, please feel free to sign up. And if you'd like more, there's a whole series of calls I'm doing on knowing what you want, asking what you want, and engaging contribution, not just from people, where we're going to be looking at the energies that are already there, that are willing and able to contribute to you, that you may not be using. That is actually my favorite 3-part series. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I shall see you somewhere around. Have a great morning, lunch, or evening, wherever you are in the world.